One and all, welcome back to the channel for what will begin as a speedcast. We catch up to live because this is live from the One Trick Pony tournament. Vortex took game one on Coastal Cliffs up against Baltoon's French. We now hop into possibly the hardest map for Vortex, Boardland, or as I like to call it, Pro Scouts Galore. And French, one of the best civs at playing this current meta. Let's see how Vortex wants to try and approach it. Into the feudal age already, we've got the king coming out. It's going to be Spearman as well, which makes a lot of sense against the knight play. I doubt we'll be seeing 2TC. 2TC just feels really way too selfish, way too greedy when you're playing against Pro Scouts. He needs to find a way of trying to block what Baltoon wants to do. And the blockage is going to be via an all-in. Check this. We've got Lombos being produced as well. So this is kind of sick. Vortex has gone for an optimization around like keeping his army alive with the king heal. He's going to look to commit fully in for an early game kill. And let me update the tile. We are at Vortex versus Baltoon now. Love the king poke. So far, it's actually Baltoon who's the one reaping kills. 2 worker kills so far. Soon to be more. And he's slowly just fishing for it. We're going to stick on the 4x speed because we're at about 12 minutes in right now, so we want to get live. Archers are blobbing up. The tricky part for Vortex is he doesn't really need them. I guess it's a way of getting some tickle damage on the knights. The mass spears would just kind of make more sense right now. The problem is, Vortex is blind to this. Like, look at his vision on the map. It's not like he's playing Pro Scouts. He doesn't see everything. So he has to assume that Baltoon is going to have a second layer. That he's going to have archers coming, which would be the real threat for you. King does at least get sniped out. Baltoon doing a good job mucking around this. We have to remember, Baltoon, he's a French specialist, guys. Like, this is the civ that he knows and loves. He really did just kind of hit the perfect civ for him. For this tournament, the One Trick Pony. A nice counter attack there. Does slay 4 of the villagers. Knights. Oh, look at him mop up, though. And he didn't have enough spears. This was our question mark about the longbow play. Like we said, Vortex, in theory, you get why he's doing it. But the obnoxious thing that Baltoon is doing is refusing to transition. He's like, oh, a transition. Right, so you want me to build extra stables, right? No, Baltoon, that's not what we had in mind. We were thinking maybe you add in more knights? No, Baltoon, that's not... More knights. The crazy thing is how often French can win by just doing this right now. And he even has Royal Institute on the way. Oh boy. This is about to get ugly, isn't it? Vortex isn't too far behind his own castle timing. We're about, I think, a minute out from live now. I mean, you kind of have to white tower. It doesn't feel good here. But it feels inevitable. There's just too much heavy cav coming. Without it, you die. So White Tower will protect him against the dive. The problem is that, wait, the location. What about the farms? Oh, he is at least able to protect himself for now. This means that Vortex is going to have to look for a way to rush relics. Unfortunately for him, Baltoon is already a mile ahead, and we have caught up. They are no longer ahead of us. We are now live in the quarterfinals of One Trick Pony. So gold, you are going to eat for it fast. Baltoon is already down to just 1,500 remaining here. He's going to have to move forward. Vortex isn't really in a position to stop him moving forward right now. It's a bit tricky to try and get in position here, because if you leave the base this early, look at where the farms are. The White Tower doesn't protect you. Nice. They are fishing for an opportunity to dive in here. He has got the Royal Institute upgrades. He's already got the Royal Bloodline, so we'll be able to just jump right on top of him here. Oh, I'm sorry. I just saw your word bands. Heavy Cav able to mop up. This is worrisome for Vortex. If he can't get relics and he couldn't play Pro Scouts, like, what is your positive here as English? Do you have to switch into 2TC? A bit tricky when you've got Forged Stone as well. The other worry I have is if you do make this about like crossbows, French aren't exactly at a disadvantage by going into Arbitrier. Yes, you have your attack speed buffer, but they've got Pervice. Cantled saddles also as well. I love this tech, man. This tech is just it's crazy when I watch this game get this tech rather get slept on in games where you have like 20 plus heavy cav. It increases your damage at the beginning of a fight in the first 5 seconds from 9 extra damage to 30. especially when you've got Royal Institute, this is totally worth price of admission. The reason why is, like, think how often when you play with heavy cav, you don't fully commit to a fight. You know, you poke in, and then they either run away, and you kind of, you know, get a good trade anyway, or they completely are dead, and you just move on, or you just basically, like, poke. Right? You don't really get these situations like with men-at-arms, where you know you're going to be standing still, stationary for 20, 30, 40 seconds. Is this fast imp? He's gonna go. Wait, is it? Yo, what? A poor man's castle appears on the south side. Is he gonna red pulse drop the other 8k vein? That's so dirty. I mean, actually, looking at the way this is spawned, the way this tree line has gone is quite beneficial for creeping in with a red pass here, which will protect one of the sacred sites and a big chunk of wood. He's like, I take him Ulon. Nah, mate, you're out of here. Trouser Stealer, what is up? Well, it seems I've reached into your trousers and stolen 5 buckeries. Appreciate the sub, mate. Welcome to Swarm. Love to see new subbers. And thank you, Warstorm, as well. Thank you. Keep the subs coming, guys. Got a whole series ahead of us. Game 1 was 11 minutes. This is already the longest game between the two. I don't know, this matchup, I feel like it's one that could deliver some length, mainly because of the way that Vortex plays English more than anything else. You know, if you kind of just checksummed these two civs on the ladder, I feel like you come out with a very, very positive win rate for French, especially in the current meta. But Vortex, I think his aggression is what maybe makes me believe in the English potency here. Red pass is going to be dropped where we talked about a little bit more defensive. Maybe could have went over towards the sacred site. But this is going to lock in the 8k gold vein. Meanwhile, Vortex is just playing for that hyper late game. Yeah, the BC Vortex rubbing off on each other thing really seems to be paying out here. If he just committed again, all in his English, I think he loses the game. Just playing for Imperial is more sensible. The problem I'm seeing in this game right now is there's no second TC. Wingard incoming? No, it's going to be Berkshire. Ooh. Not a great Berkshire location, though. He can't come out too far because of the night. Just checked. We've had enough minutes passed. I can't say that again. So, because of the blindness of riding out here, he has to take it safe. Now, for a lot of civs, this would kill them because they just don't have enough gold. Good news is, when you play English, farms. So 3k should be enough to keep him secure here. Dalsy, in the meantime, we're going to be knocking at the door. Vortex. Able to react quick enough, though. But is keeping him pinned in his base. Meantime, 4th Relic is now on the way home for Baltoon. We do have 2nd Sacred Site also getting captured. Does need to consider maybe securing these objectives. I don't know how Balt feels about hyper late game against English. You know, if you had a really good trade map, I could see it making sense for French, but the trade route isn't ideal. I think you get like maybe 50 gold on this map maximum. One thing that can be a little bit enticing to make it better, though, is remember French have a unique tech for trade. It's not even specifically to do with the fact they can choose the resource. It's actually to do with merchant guilds. Merchant guilds lets them just generate additional gold while doing the trade. Baltoon. What do you guys think? 1's if you think he will discover a different unit type before the end of the game. 2's if he's doing the Zertan strategy, where you just zerg the ponies. You always found that Merchant Guilds barely does anything. So how long would it take you to get across a map with traders? Should we say like 30 seconds end to end? No, I'd say it's more like 40. So you're generating like an extra Was it 1 gold every 6 seconds? I'd say you're generating... Yeah, well, you're generating an extra 10 gold per minute. It's not bad, actually. The other thing that's quite nice is even when your trade gets blocked, if you can't trade anymore, well, the cool thing about Merchants Guild is you can just keep walking the traders around and they'll give you the gold. Or rather, not walk them around, but basically you have to like reset their trade point to a different location and they'll keep generating gold. Baltun, hello. Vorti might be in a bit of trouble here. His army out of position, but wait, why are we... Imperative he does not get Bloomery. Okay, so very, very great deals of hate from Baltun for Blacksmith. I'm assuming his wife left him for a metal crafter of some kind. And now it's going to be a dive into the farms, and the villagers run straight into him. Nice club down there, has to back away, but worth it. Remember, this is still just one town center English. And on top of that, if you're dancing around the back of your base after these guys, the Sacred Site timer is ticking. Not just that, Baltun now getting to the stage where he has more than one wave of the knights to play with. So he can just kind of spin rotate you. Vorti has to be thinking about a keep drop. Yeah, there's the stone gathering now. It's the only way he's going to be able to easily stake a claim on one of these sites. You like the Tawny logo? Yeah, it's because we like laid it over our logo to kind of make it work. Because by default, it's... There you go. We emboldened the baby. Villagers aren't going to buy enough time for the army to rise. So let's say we won't be able to sneak in there. Well, so far, is Vortex doing a good job of like just blocking the exposure points on him, right? He's not allowing Balt to find that decisive blow that just ends the game. The problem is he's falling further and further behind. We have to remember this is 2TC French. Every 16 seconds, new villager comes out. So your opponent is going to reach critical economical mass first. And yes, you've got things like the enclosures, but it only makes up for so much of a deficit. So for Vorti, it's going to be all about this timing to keep drop. He's moving with the Sacred Site now, but unfortunately, Baltun beat him to the punchline. It's tricky to stay here because there's an Arbalest emplacement in there as well. The spears die quite fast. And a keep drop north, man, this is oppressive. Balt should consider getting the cannons next. He's gathering extra stone. It would be super effective here just to make sure that Mass Spear Clump can't do anything. He's legit just going to try to complete this game with only knights. The man who kind of made a reputation for himself in team games is showing you exactly why here, actually. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. You can tell that on that one trick pony logo, that pony, dude, that is a pony from Baltun's games. He's like, we have played so many French games in the last 48 hours. Why? Why? Sorry. Let me do it more justice. Here you go. We have played so many French games in the last 48 hours. What's going up? I like this. You know, you really do feel like both Vortex and Beastie have evolved this year. They mentioned it, they kind of rubbed off on each other, and I think you can see it. Like, when have you ever known Vortex to play like this, to wall like this? He's being very strategic about this. Usually this man, I call him the Spanish stallion, but really is more of a bull. Sees red, has to charge it, which is unfortunate because Baltun is red. But really seems to be kind of evolving the game strategies later in the games. Actually, I think I did call him the Spanish Bull more than the Stallion. I'd say Stallion was more Lucifron. Bull fit Vortex more. Like, he was the aggressive party for sure. But this is ridiculous. 72 knights! Carlton's just standing here. Toro! 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 Seeing if we can just get him to come out a little bit further. We do not have elite army tactics, guys. This is pretty important. Vortex lacks grand amounts of gold, but EAT almost feels like a necessity here. It's 5 minutes until a Sacred Site victory, so Void definitely has some time on his side. Problem is, like, what's being done with that time? Oh, you know, just Battletune having almost 100 knights. No biggie. Would need to delete some economy to get there now. Good news is, with all these walls up, Battletune can't look to be very efficient where you just send in 20 knights, kill economy, trade them out, build the new wave. Like, he would not be able to get in here. Oh, wait, there's no outpost. There's no outpost. Uh-oh. Aura does activate, but not for the Spearmen. And the Spearmen, remember, are not very tanky. They're not contributing enough. He has to back up. Just that small difference of just a few footsteps. Spear count has been cut in half already. Battletune has only lost about 10 of the knights. And now you can just plow through and chow down on that back line. Crossbows are basically standing their ground. Not ideal. 4 minutes to go on the clock. The army is still going to be a healthy lead for Battletune now. 48 knights remain. Practically nothing left of the Imperial English army. What a complicated Civ French is. Oh, so complicated. Build knights, a click.